These are some selected solutions from the 8th grade skills review handout. So let's take a look at some of these problems. So on that first one there, they're asking us to subtract these two fractions. So the first thing I always end up doing is taking a look at these denominators, and I look at the factors that they have. For instance, a 4 has two 2's, and a 6 has a 2 and a 3. So what we need to multiply the 4 by is the factor that it does not have that 6 has. That is a 3. And the 6 is missing that extra 2. It has one 2, but not two 2's that 4 has. So what that does for us is it gives us a fraction, an equivalent fraction, that has the same denominator. So I end up with a 9/12, and I'm taking away 10/12, and that leaves me with negative 1/12. Well, the next problem is a mixed number, and I'm taking away another mixed number, so same sort of process. First thing I need to do is come up with a common denominator. 3 and 2 are prime numbers, so I can just multiply by the other's denominator. And so when I do that, I end up having an 11 and 4/6, and I'm taking away the 2 and 3/6. So when I do that subtraction, I'm left with 9 and 1/6 as the answer. Well, looking at our next one, here I'm starting at 10, and I'm taking away 7/9. So if I was to write this out, and the problems go pretty quick once you get the hang of this, if I was to subtract, I end up having to borrow, because when I do the subtraction, say I have 0 and 7/9, and I have to borrow because there's no fraction next to the 10. And so I'm going to borrow from the 10. And when I do that, I'm going to change it to the next lower number, the 9, but I'm going to add on the fraction so that I keep the number equivalent. And I'm going to use 9/9. Now, the reason I'm picking 9/9, not only is it 1, but the denominator is 9 that I'm taking away. I'm taking 7/9 away. So what I'm left with is 9 minus 7 makes 2/9, and I have a 9. So 9 and 2/9 is what I have left over there. And looking at the next problem, I've got 5/9 times by negative 12/13. So I want to come up, well, I want to cross cancel or look for any common factors either vertically or diagonally. And so here I see the 9 can be divided by 3, and the 12 can as well. So the 12 becomes a negative 4, the 9 becomes a 3, and then I'm multiplying across. So I'm multiplying the 5 and the negative 4, and that's where I'm getting negative 20 from. The 3 times the 13 gives me 39, and that is my answer. Well, there's a challenge problem as well, and I'll give you a hint on the challenge problem. You're going to end up needing or use Pythagorean's theorem. Pythagorean's theorem, and you're going to end up having to use that for the perimeter. Use Pythagorean theorem for the perimeter. So that's my hint to you. The area you'll be able to find because the units are given to you on the graph paper, but for the perimeter you're going to end up having to use Pythagorean's theorem to find out that number. So those are my hints to you. Good luck on that assignment.